Then on the strand, with steeds and treasure, and armor their roomy and ring-dight ship was heavily laden. High its mast rose over Hrothgar's hoarded gems. A sword to the boat-guard Beowulf gave, mounted with gold. On the mead bench, since he was better esteemed, that blade possessing heirloom old. Their ocean keel boarding, they drove through the deep, and Daneland left. A sea-cloth was set, a sail with ropes firm to the mast, the flood timbers moaned. Nor did wind over billows that wave-swimmer blow across from her course. The craft sped on, foam-necked it floated forth o'er the waves, keel firm-bound over briny currents, till they got them sight of the Geatish cliffs, home-known headlands. High the boat, stirred by winds, on the strand updrove. Helpful at haven the harbor guard stood, who long already for loved companions by the water had waited and watched afar. Oh yeah. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, Arvanauts. It is good to see you all. Seriously. Welcome all to a stream on Tuesday, April 8th. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all to day 16 of Beowulf. This is Age of Heroes with TariToons. This is part 3 of The Witches and the Wyrm. I am excited to be here. I'm excited to have all you folks with me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the session today as we continue with this really fun adventure with a dear friend of mine. But before we get there, just a couple of reminders about ways to support us. If you have not already done so, please follow the channel. Check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, and please do subscribe to me over there. I see we have a couple of folks over there watching already. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe. It's free for you to do that. We are so close to 1,100 subscribers. We're almost there. We can do it. It's free for you to do that, but it really does help us out and gives you access to content when we post it. So please do that. Discord is !ArvCord. You can hang out with the Arvanauts in between streams. Twitter, !Arv tweets. Blue Sky in particular, want to send you people towards that social media wise. !Arv Sky for that. And the website arvaneleron.com. Quick note that Hearthglow, which you can find on that site, the finale of my limited run actual play podcast starring C.S.E. Cooley, Carlos Hernandez, Zach Clay, and Adam Petrosino, will be coming to an end this coming Friday, not May yet, April 11th, at the Shine Auditorium at Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut. It will be from 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern. If you click on Blue Sky, you'll see a link where you can get more information about that in terms of where to park. It is free to attend. It is free to park. But please mark your calendars, and we are very excited for this. It's part of the Sacred Heart University Literary Spring event. Adam is a Sacred Heart student, which is how we were able to do this, but we're very excited for this. It's going to be a good time. There's going to be some people live and in person, including from chat. Someone that I may recognize here may also be available. So very excited for it, and I can't wait to get a chance to go through this adventure, which is set, of course, in my Forbidden Library universe, and which will be concluding with Beyond the Forbidden Library. That will conclude the Hearthglow podcast this Friday. So super excited for that. And let's see. So you can find that on that website, as well as also check out Gen GMs, which is the GM tip show that I do with one Mr. Zach Clay. And speaking of Zach Clay, Zach is actually here, although he's currently asleep because it's like 8 a.m. his time, even though he is here on the East Coast. But I'm very excited for that. And then on the financial front, exclamation point Arv Shop, our merchandise area, exclamation point Arv Treon is the Patreon website, and both of those things are really helpful to support the channel. Please do that. Please consider subscribing to the channel. It gives you those custom sub badges and emotes to use here, there, and everywhere across Twitch. So there's all that stuff. On the publishing front, exclamation point Icarus, that's my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation point Library is my Tales and Tomes, The Forbidden Library, that's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And exclamation point Greyshade, that's my Greyshade IP. Greyshade Renegade Heretic, the Grey Assassin trilogy from Athos Arts. You can also get the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks there at that link. And you can pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade, which will be coming out this August. It'll be coming out at Gen Con, which I'm super excited for, from Alligator Alley Entertainment, from our very own Brandon O'Brien. So I'm very excited about that as well. And you can pre-order that right now to get a hold of that tabletop game ahead of time. It's going to be super cool. I cannot wait to show you all more of how Greyshade works. And last but certainly not least, exclamation point, let me see, exclamation point, as I completely lose. Oh, yes, BLM. I was like, what do I say first? That's right, that one. Exclamation point BLM, Black Lives Matter. Important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation point Help Now, which is the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And as always, exclamation point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage, and send the message we'll do so for others in that situation in the future. Now, quick note about today. We are going to be doing this until about 1:30, then with myself and Tari, and then I will be closing up shop for the channel, but not overall, because at 2 p.m. Eastern, I will be over on GogCom's Twitch channel with Pen and Pixels, with By the Dice Roll, as we continue with Ghosts of Saltmarsh. We are heading into the finale of that campaign as well, so I'm excited for that, and you'll be able to see more of that today over on GOGCom from 2 to 5 p.m. Eastern. Then we will be off tomorrow, and I will be back on Thursday with more Expeditions Rome, which I've been having a real blast doing, so it's going to be great. And then Friday, as I said, we have the awesome and amazing finale of Hearthglow at Sacred Heart University. And then Saturday, we should be doing a live Negocios Infernalis event with Carlos and Claire and Zach and others. And so it's going to be super cool and all the stuff like that. Now, there is one other thing I want to mention, but before I do that, I want to unmute myself so that Tari knows we're ready to go, and then unmute her. And last but certainly not least, head over to reveal to you the amazing and awesome TariToons. There is Tari. Tari is here. She is ready to go. She is excited. And just before I introduce her, because the chat was already saying I was going to be talking about this, I don't know why anyone would think that I would be suddenly revealing information about my daughter. Why would anybody think that I was going to do that in any way? There's no reason to believe that I would be holding up a proclamation signed by the mayor defining this as her day. She has her own day. There's a day right there. A day. There's the seal. You see the seal? It says it. That's the seal that proves it. It's a proclamation. Whereas, student poet laureate. Last night was a very good night for the ARF clan. It was incredibly awesome and amazing and moving to see my daughter absolutely kill it in terms of the way she delivered the poem. She had written this poem. She read it in front of the city council. It was amazing. It was so beautifully done. And it was just, she's always loved to perform. She's always wanted to do that in front. It was just absolutely beautiful. And then I got back from that. In this chat, you do not know, but I told it to Tari. And my son, Mini Arv, won his class spelling bee. So he is going to be competing in the school spelling bee. And if he wins, then he's going to the district spelling bee. It was the coolest thing. He got home and he's like, sister, how was poet laureate? He's like, how was poet laureate? She's like, it was great. He's like, that's great. Dad, guess what? And he's like, I won the spelling bee. I was like, what? You won the spelling bee? He's like, yeah, I won the spelling bee. This huge smile on his face. I was like, man, it was about as good as it gets when it comes to family life. So super excited for my son, and now I appreciate Tari indulging me, but I just, I had to get that out of the way because it was pretty wild. All right.
I'll allow it.
I'll allow it. But let's get on to other people who are also awesome. Tari, how are you? How's life in the universe with you? And yeah, who are you playing in our game today?
Well, I just I'm coming down from a bronchitis, which was not fun. Still have a bit of a scratchiness in my voice, and will occasionally cough.
Mm-hmm.
But besides that, I am more or less fine. Getting back on the horse.
I'm glad.
And yeah, just incredibly bored out of my mind last week because when you're sick, you can just like stay in bed and like you're just too tired to do anything.
That's true.
Yeah. So, but yeah, better now. Looking forward to the weekend because I'll be going to see some live wrestling.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You're going to see some live wrestling?
Yeah,
really?
I'm really looking forward to it. Like I've only seen live wrestling once, and that was like a sideshow, basically.
No, wait. This is like the Dutch version of live wrestling. So there's got to be like some do they have to battle like while holding back a dam of water, or like they throw tulips at each other, or like what other tropes can I use?
Yes, the famous instead of hair battles, they do tulip battles.
They do tulip battles.
The loser
right?
gets their flower beds mowed over.
They like give a tulip to their opponent, like some guy, and then he does off the top dam and like fights, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes, sure. And also like fighting on top of windmills, how it goes.
Totally.
Yes. But yeah.
Yeah, they tickle each other with tulips. Exactly. Also, thank you, Tom, so much for the sub. I appreciate it.
Yeah, but like PWH is a promotion called. Looking very much forward to it.
PWH, very cool.
Yeah, Pro Wrestling Holland.
Are you bringing a sign? Please tell me you're bringing a sign.
No. But I might like down the road, like because if I enjoy it, I of course want to go see them more often. Like they have one match per month, I think, somewhere in the country.
You want to become like a season ticket holder of like wrestling?
I don't think they do season tickets, but like one ticket is like, I don't know, $16. It's really affordable. So when they are around, I do want to see them. But yeah, so very much looking forward to it. But yeah, the only other time I saw live wrestling was at Wacken Open Air. There was like a sideshow in between concerts.
And they just decided to do wrestling.
Air,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, they put like a wrestling ring.
Okay.
In between two stages, basically. Okay. So like basically in between the two crowd sides, basically. So like while they were doing like the stage building,
okay,
there would just be a small wrestling show going on, which was fun.
Sure. I respect it.
Yeah. Because you'd think there would be quite the overlap between metalheads and wrestling fans. So
that's yeah, I can imagine that. Sure.
Yeah. I mean, like every metalhead is a huge Undertaker fan, of course.
Naturally.
But yeah, so.
Wow, cool. I want a full report.
Looking forward to that.
I want a full report. Afterwards about how it all went. I think there will be
like punching and jumping and things.
Well,
maybe there will be counting.
There has to be like some kind of like storyline where like, and then they thought we could do it, but then this other guy came in and like threw salt in the guy's face when the ref wasn't looking, and then like he hit him with the table, and then like like it has to be a whole story. Like that's the whole thing about wrestling.
Well, I mean, like yeah, of course they have like stories. I have watched some of their stuff on YouTube. But like the problem is that the sound quality is not very good at the recordings.
I can't
so
imagine
you can't
why.
really properly hear like all the stuff that the wrestlers are saying and the promoters and the announcers and stuff like that. Difficult to hear at times. And then also this like really weird mix of like Dutch and English.
Okay.
It's difficult to understand what they're saying sometimes, but like I got the gist of it, of some of it. Like they're the main heel group are called the circus. If I got this right, it's like this crazy nightmare circus with like this giant dude who's like this. Think if the Undertaker was like a giant nightmare clown, basically.
Okay.
Who's really fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to hopefully that guy will be there. He's like a bit, in Arkham Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever
Oh,
played that,
yes. Oh,
like when you
yes, I
fight
did.
against Bane,
Yep.
kind of reminded me a bit of that,
Oh,
like the
God.
Bane
So
battle.
many dodges while he runs into a wall. Oh, my God. I have nightmares of how many times you'd be like, here he comes, dodge, then jump on it.
I haven't played it myself. I just watched my ex at the time play it.
Oh,
But
it's
yeah.
excellent game, all those
Um,
games. That's very cool, though. I really,
yeah.
I want to point out that my dear friend Tari is, there's only so many people that I know who would be experts at cartooning, wrestling, heraldry, Baldur's Gate. Like there's a there's like, and then as I learned today, fixing everything all the time. I feel like that's a combination of things that you don't always see. It's
So
a
I mentioned previously, right, that I'm like going through this like day clinic therapy thing currently.
mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we're looking at is currently to get myself a new and a proper diagnosis, because I've never gotten one for like what exactly is going on with me besides like depression and PTSD.
Mm-hmm.
And like, yeah, so maybe you have ADHD, and I'm like, really? You think I out of all people have ADHD?
Are you
you don't
suggesting
say.
that you have a kind of a scattered focal point sometimes? Is that what you're?
Yeah, sometimes.
I don't know though, because like when we're playing together this game or other things, or in fact you're cartooning, and I understand this is ADHD does not literally mean squirrel every 3 seconds. I get that, but your focus.
Oh, I also
is,
have that a lot actually.
okay,
like literal squirrel.
but not all the time. Like I think there are times where I feel like your focus is quite, to my mind, impressive. So
thank you. Takes effort. I mean, we've been playing for like what now, 8 years?
God, has it been that long? I guess so.
Fucking Jesus.
Unreal. Yeah.
So I think at this point, I want to say I've gotten better at it. And like, I know if we would have asked me like, I don't know, 6 years ago to do a duet game with you, I probably would have declined, because I know I wouldn't have been able to do that. Like, I was already scared to do it like now and stuff like that, because like being like a 2-man show is requires a lot of like attention.
It's true.
And like during the Middle Earth games, I could always like, it was fine if I occasionally just zoned out, right?
Because you had other
like,
people
yeah,
that
I had
could
to
back
like
it up.
teach
Here,
myself to like be able to better pay attention and like see my own patterns and stuff like that, because I had like real fucking issues paying attention with games a lot. Like I still do have sometimes, but like, it helped like that.
That's good.
trimmed around that.
I'm glad, because it's I just feel like there's a very clear through line you've always been put together with your characters, and that requires focus. Like if you didn't have it, it would be sort of like, well, I don't really know what this character's about, because you're always like, what? Hello? I always felt like you had that kind of level of
Well,
concentration.
but like also I enjoy it. Like that's always like the caveat when you have like something ADHD or ADHD adjacent.
That's
right?
fair. Yeah.
That it's like, as long as it's interesting, it's way fucking easier to pay attention.
That's fair.
And think about it. It's like if this would be like 3-hour live stream of like me doing I don't know, research into microbiology.
Yeah. I'm glad I gave up on my
that would be
calculus, my calculus actual play.
would not be happening.
When I was in 9th grade, my teacher, whose name was Mrs. Riddle, by the way, which little troubling for a math teacher, but anyway, she said to me in the middle of that class, she's like, Greg, if you're not able to pick up, to improve your work in math, I might not be able to recommend you for AP Calculus. And it was all I could do not to burst out laughing in her face. Like, oh no, I don't get to go to AP Calculus. Like, let's be clear. This guy's not going to be doing AP Calculus, okay? I am quite good at the basics of math. I have never had a desire or interest or a quality or aptitude for anything more than that. So yeah, like if we were doing a whole thing on calculus, that would be bad for focus. But we're not. We're doing stuff on Beowulf. So who are you playing in this game, by the way?
I am playing, and here we are about to focus and think about the characters. I am playing Genoveva, who is a former follower of the now deceased, what was her name?
Wow. The now deceased. I know it, but should I tell you, or do you want
Fuck. Wait a second. I have my notes.
We'll
Wow.
never forget
So
what's her name.
we hardly knew the. I remember the first name I gave her, which then turned out, oh, oops, that is a slur in like British English that I have never heard of. So I had to change that. Wow. What was it? Please tell me. I don't remember. I don't have it
It
written in
was
my
Runesild.
notebook. Rootsild.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Yeah.
It's okay.
From a
I'm
fun
glad.
world,
I'm
but
glad
now
we put her
deceased and well
thoroughly.
remembered.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Rootsild.
Put her firmly
Um.
in the rearview mirror, and that's the.
Uh. And yeah, she currently was on her way back home to Xanten from her first adventure where she was leading the crew. And then the weather got weird, and we got stuck on a even weirder island, and we literally met God. And are now doing fetch quests for God. So
Basically,
that's nice.
that's right. That's basically doing. That should totally be the name of the next adventure. Is Fetch Quest for God. Like that. That would be great. Or it's the name of my new tribute band. I'll have to think about Fetch Quest for God.
I mean,
You know.
can that be called a fetch quest? Like, because I feel like when people usually talk about fetch quests, it's like get 5 boar scalps.
Yeah. Right.
Not like
Harvest
get like
6
this one
this.
MacGuffin. Like this is a MacGuffin hunt, I guess.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, not a
Although
fetch
so
quest.
far you've had a successful one. It's a different kinds because, as we'll talk about, it was well, as we'll discuss, there were kind of some different aspects to this particular MacGuffin. In our last session, Genevieve, who has been trapped,
Failed every roll. Failed every fucking roll.
oh my God, that's true. Had some. Yes, in fact, if I look at the roll 20, these these were some of the rolls. Like okay, 10, 7, 14, 17, 12, 9, 8, 20, and then 8, 5, 6, 3, 11. 19, 23, that was a good moment. Then 1, 19, 11. There are a lot of ones, is what I'm saying, and low scores. But despite that, so okay, Genevieve was not the University of Connecticut women in marching on to their 12th title, which just happened 2 days ago. Go Huskies! So she wasn't that, but she was nonetheless a resilient survivor, and she managed to lots of single digits, exactly effectively. But she managed to push through and meet the dwarf Fullanger, who I believe I have the picture of right there. Fullanger, who had taken the orb of one. I need to remember which of the witches it was because there are 3 of them.
That was for the youngest one.
It was the youngest one.
Magden.
That's right, for Magden. The crystal orb. And she was able to do it basically by battling Fullanger in a riddle contest, winning the orb, and then as she took the orb from Fullanger, Fullanger immediately forgot and was in his hut basically banging away at the anvil again and saying he wished he knew where his crystal orb had gone to. Meanwhile, Genevieve was like, right, we are going to head out of the way. Getting there was not easy either, of course. She had to navigate a swiftly flowing river that several of her followers, in particular Dalib, I believe, fell into on multiple occasions, and she had to help him get out. And so he was kind of, I think the term was squishy, was the term that we used by the time we get to the end of this. And so that was a problem. But she did manage to get there through Mundir. That's what it was. I'm like, Galib? That was the other one. Not Galib. It was Ibn Mundir who kept falling in. But she did manage to eventually get him out and head back towards the edge of the forest where she is planning to turn in the quest. And so as she makes her way back down the river, just as she is leaving this area, Just as she's leaving this area, Prince Justin subscribes on a tier 2 level. Although Prince Justin is, of course, not at all here. That's very important. Even though Prince Justin is subscribed, he is not actually here. So thank you to the non-existent Prince Justin for the non-existent tier 2 sub. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Good to not see you in this particular case. So also 72 months, which means it is now 6 years. 6 years of support. Where does the time go? So now we have the coveted quill for the 6 months time period. So thank you again, Prince Justin, for not subscribing and not being here. Right. So Genevieve was making her way to the western side of the forest. And right near the edge of the forest, as you emerge from the edge of it, you see the 3 women, the 3 sisters, again standing there. So you are literally now just here. Sorry, you're right. I'm sorry. That's right. We're right up there following the path. Yes. So this time, now last time you encountered them was over this way, but they are waiting for you when you first emerge. And they sort of, stand there looking at you. And Megden is sort of looking, the red-haired girl is looking, sort of clasping her hands together and kind of, nodding at you and says, well, how has the time gone? Have you found him? Have you found my ball?
Yes, I have. And she reaches into her bag and with both hands extends it to them and bows down her head.
Woo! So she grabs it
over
and she tosses it in the air several times and twirls and catches it and then spins around several times and laughs and giggles and then she looks at it and has a big smile and then she looks into the heart of it and she gets kind of thoughtful for her and sort of turns it around several times and then she says, well, I think you will need this. And she hands it back to you and she says, this will help you defeat the big snake. If you hold it in front of him, he'll think that the sun is here. And he'll think that the sun is setting. And if you take the ball, show it to him, and then take it away, he'll realize that it's nighttime. And then you can do whatever you want. My sisters think you should just kill him, but, well, anyway. You didn't kill Full Anger, did you? You didn't hurt him, did you?
Nope. We had a lovely time, just chatting a lot and playing games, and then he just handed me the ball as a prize for beating him in a game.
I'm so happy. So that's great. Yay! And then she skips off to the edge of the forest, right near you, and is looking at some birds in the trees, and pays no attention to you. So you have this orb now. Exactly. Exactly. And so you have the other sisters now. One of which is Modor, and one of which is Widway. And both of them are standing, and they say nothing. They just sort of silently look at you.
Well, that is one thing done. I will go and do the next thing then.
And Modor suggests, as she's looking at you, she says, perhaps you may wish to rest first. Now she gestures to the left, and as her left, your right. And as you look over to the right, you see a longhouse there. Now, you came in this way, remember, into the forest. There was no longhouse there when you went in. But there is one now. And you can see, it's a small wooden longhouse, and you can see a little bit of a wisp of smoke kind of coming out of the chimney, reminding you vaguely of Full Anger's house, although this one doesn't have someone pounding on an anvil and, singing songs. But you see a little bit, and Modor says, you could perhaps get some rest here before doing what you wish to do next.
That is very kind of you. Gladly.
And she says, before you do, which of our tasks would you undertake next? Mine And then Woodway says, or mine.
Well, based on what I know about you, I think the correct choice would be to go with you, and she points at Modor. Because, from the youngest to the oldest.
And Modor nods and says, it is one way to do this, and if you wish, you may take on my task that you would choose. There is, beyond the Peatmore, and she points there sort of off behind her, a lonely croft. There a kingless farmer ekes out an existence. But they are like a rudderless boat, drifting without proper guidance. They cut peat, collect bog, iron, and fashion tools to coke vegetables from the hard earth. But their croft sits on land with a more ancient owner, to whom no respects nor tribute are paid, and that owner does not welcome the working of iron on the land. They are angry at each other, and the land is angry with them. If you can figure a way to help persuade them to work with each other, I can help you find the lair of the great serpent. And she holds the baby, and you can see the baby just slightly stirs and puts a small little hand up on its mother's breast and then remains asleep.
All right. I'm sure this will go well. Let's hope we don't fall into any rivers this time around.
And she sort of like tilts her head and she says, your followers do look slightly damp. And you can see Mundir is like shaking his head, like, not even looking.
Well, I guess we rest up then and then leave in the morning. Well, morning.
And
which is relatively speaking, and she looks up.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's like somewhat darker gray, but still pretty much gray. Okay, so if you go towards the longhouse, when you enter, you find there is. Oh, sure. You find your doom. No, just kidding.
Yeah, a military jet just flew by very loudly.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, there's an and the second one. Yeah, there's like an airplane, like a military airbase, not too far from here.
Oh, wow.
But like still, you never hear planes here, so
wow. Okay.
That was like really weird.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Clearly reflecting the military jets in the world of Beowulf. No,
yes.
no one knew that. But when you go into the longhouse, you see a fire burning in the hearth, and there is a meal bubbling in a cauldron hung above it. You can smell this delicious smell of what seems like some kind of stew. And in a corner of the house, you can also see a hanging bowl and cups nearby. If you had to guess, probably mead might be found in that hanging bowl. And there are furs and blankets and so forth with the bedding here. So all of that is to say that you could, if you wish, get a long rest. What I would allow you to do in this situation is you could have both of your followers that were spent, Galib and Guy, can be unspent. They can basically be
Nice.
refreshed in this.
Yeah, we take a long rest. Just properly dry our clothes out. Just rest a bit. Heat up the mead to enjoy because it's better warm.
Definitely. It is delicious.
Yeah.
It's and it's odd. It's not a big longhouse, but it almost it's bigger on the inside, is what I'm saying. There's room for all of you to fit comfortably. So when I don't want to leap past this if you don't want to. If you want to talk to the followers about something specifically, you can. Otherwise, we can fast forward. Totally up to you.
I guess since I did not spend Guy, did I?
You did. I had you as having spent him, but you can rest him now. I don't know what you spent him on. It might have been when you were trying to save people from the river, but I don't know for sure.
Oh, maybe. Did I spend Galib?
You had spent Galib and Guy before. It's not mediocre. It's definitely not mediocre. I see what you did there.
Ah.
That's good.
I guess I just would like to take the extra time to send Guy to the ship to inform the crew of what's happening and that we might be here for a few more days.
Okay. You can do that.
Let them know where to get fresh water because we found the river and stuff like that.
Okay. When Guy returns, probably about an hour to go down, do that, and come back. And when Guy returns, he informs you that the men have grown increasingly, the crew has grown increasingly restless because obviously there's no sign of other boats or anything else, but there's very little sound of life at all, which is unnerving. Like no sound of birds. The men tossed out, tried to fish with nets, found no fish nearby, or in fact any living creatures other than themselves. So they have enough food that they could manage to get by, but there's not a lot of other life. So
yeah, also one part of the message would have also been, if you see a white deer, do not kill it.
Okay.
And other than that, they can try and find food in the forest.
Okay. Yeah, and otherwise they're fine.
Beware that there might be a bear.
And be careful of dwarves in strange huts. Okay. You could do that for sure. And otherwise, when you emerge the next day, the sisters have gone. But you find just right outside the door of the longhouse, Genevieve, you find what looks like just a random piece of bone. But then as you look at it, you can see that it is carved, and it's carved with what looks like 3 bumps on it. Like there's a piece of bone, and then it's been carved, so there's this 3 curving like arches.
A wave shape.
Yes. But they are not.
Is it scalloped or is it waved?
It's scalloped or is it waved? I guess more scalloped because it doesn't have the crest wave. It's just bumps. So yeah, and it looks it's very obviously made this way. It's not natural. But it's just sitting in front of the door.
Yeah, would pick it up and inspect it closer.
Okay. Anything in particular you're looking for?
Just what the hell am I looking at?
What are you looking at?
Why?
Make a.
What? Why? How?
Let me have you make a survival check for me, please.
Oh boy. No, that's a 9.
That's a 9. Yeah, I mean, the only thing you know for sure is that it's carved. Definitely carved, not a naturally occurring bone.
Yeah, I pocketed.
Okay. And it occurs to you as you turn around, you have no idea where to go. She had sort of waved randomly in sort of the north-ish, but had not given you any specific places to go.
Well, we're at the edge of the forest. Gonna go climb a tree and see if I can see a settlement somewhere.
Okay.
There should be smoke.
Can I get an acrobatics check from you, please?
Oh boy. 13.
I think that's probably enough to get up the tree. It's a little, it's not the smoothest climb, but you're able to get up to the top. And you're looking for what when you get to the top? Like, are you looking around?
Yeah, any signs of a settlement in any direction?
No, but I will let you make an intelligence check at advantage because you've climbed here. No, actually, I take that back. No, I did not. I do not take it back. I was right. Intelligence check. You have a bone in your pocket. You're just happy. Da 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 da.
Roll20 is not optimized for 4K screens.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's true.
That's a 17.
When you look off to the north, basically, you realize that you are looking at 3 hills side by side.
Yeah, I get out the bone and hold it up.
When you hold it up, it perfectly like shapes to the 3 hills, and there is as you sort of look at it, you can see that one part of the bone, the farthest right, has like a little notch in the side. And if you just look, like if you place it over the 3 hills in your sight, the notch seems to be pointing to something or like, directed at something to the right of the farthest hill on the right side.
I guess that would be our destination then.
Perhaps.
Yes. Yeah, we are making our way northeast then, huh?
Okay. Walking down, faces past, and I'm homebound. Okay.
Yeah.
In check at advantage, was it a smart idea? That's funny. Was it a good idea to climb up here? Make that check at advantage. Yeah. No, clearly was. It definitely was. Okay. Right. And indeed, as you head off to the north, you realize that you probably would have been lost because it's like mostly just peat moor, to the north. But as you go further, you realize that there is more available to you. Let me...
Really? The big black boxes are not hiding anything of note?
They begin to reveal more than existed before. Okay.
You also are uncovering the...
I know. I'm checking
what's
something.
What's it called? The legend?
Yep.
Is it called the legend in English?
Yes, that's right. I covered it and then I uncovered it and then I revealed it again. Okay. So, as you make your way up to this thing, you're able to swiftly leave the peat moor that you're walking along, and reach and head towards the rising farmland, which is heading essentially to the northwest. Probably about, I would say, an hour in to your journey, though. And hold on one second. I've got... My notes are confusing me, so one moment. There's that. There's this. Oh, yes. Okay. Right. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. Just hope you're holding the bone the right way around. Yeah. That's true. That would be unfortunate.
Well, I assume the notch wouldn't be visible from the other side.
Oh, well, that's probably the case, yes. I think it'll be one of those things where it's like the key only fits one way, right? Okay.
Oh, the map is actually to be used from the other side of the hills.
Yes. Damn it, you're supposed to land on this island from the other way. Okay. So, as you make your way up towards the northwest, basically this way, you about an hour into your journey.
Wait, I thought northeast. Is that right? That's east.
No, but looking at here, let me draw it. But you're looking this direction. So, you see what I mean? You were looking directly to the northwest, okay. So that's why. Yeah. And as you get about an hour into your journey, you find yourself growing more and more, your followers as well, growing increasingly uncomfortable, I think would probably be the way to describe it. I need you to make a perception check for me, please.
$18.
Okay. As you look around to your left, and again, it's one of those things where as you go along, it gets more and more sort of like, kind of sort of isolated and lonely, this land. As you look around...
more than it already is. Huh?
I was going to say, yeah. Well, I mean, the pleasantness of the meal and the fire and all that is left behind. Yesterday, actually, out here was very cold and rainy, and it feels very much like that as you're walking along. You look around just in time to catch sight of, in the distance, to the direct west, so not the northwest, but the direct west, an enormous, monstrous snake arching up over the hills. It appears to be a silvery color, and there are these inky black zigzag markings down its back. And it uncoils itself to its full height, enormous, and it looks down on you and fixes you in its steely gaze for a moment. And you hear just sort of like some grumblings from, and like, you know, sort of barely concealed expressions of concern from your followers. And then it slides back down under the line of hills to the distance out of sight. Now, you can't quite tell from this distance how big it is, but the fact that you could see it from this distance... Yeah.
A big boy.
And Galib says, "It is not a good sign to see that thing."
Well, I mean, being here is also not that great. But, you know, what choice do we have? So, let's just go and not further think about it.
Galib says, "There are many choices that we could make. We could turn around and forget about this godforsaken place."
I don't think they're gonna let us off the island.
And he sort of sighs heavily, and Guy says quietly, his voice tight, "No choice."
Yeah, so let's just march on. Nice weather we are having.
That place is... Sorry, I'm just getting my camera to focus.
Yeah, I noticed.
Focus, camera. Yeah, it's me. There we go. Thank you.
Hey, there you are.
It's funny, like when it's just in a particular light at a particular kind of day where the camera's like, "I don't understand. Where's your face?" So anyway,
Yeah.
Okay. So you make your way up for the next hour or so without difficulty, despite your sort of concerns over what it is that you've seen. And it's probably about, you don't know midday because everything is gray here, but you would guess midday, that you find yourself approaching what looks like an actual farm, at least based on, you know, the hills behind it if you're going in the right direction. And the land that's clear of the peat moor, so right around here, where you can see it's a little more green and grassy, is, oh, sorry, chat. You might want to see what it looks like too. I apologize. Let me reveal that to you. We're too far over to the right, so let me go this way. Let me go on. Okay. There we are. That's more like it. As you make your way up into this land, it feels like this is going to be felt like tusky heather moor, and it's far from ideal farmland. Like, it looks like it'd be a huge pain to, you know, till and plow the fields and all that sort of thing. But it looks like someone has been trying to make a go of it, albeit without success. You pass through fields of what are very clearly rotting oats, with these sodden black leaves, and you see these unhealthy-looking rainbow puddles slick on the ground. There is a foul stench that fills the air as you go along.
I see where this is going.
Mm-hmm. And as you get close, I have a picture for you. Just give me a second here. Right. Okay, good. That's exactly what I wanted. Save as. Let me not do what I did the other day where I put this in the wrong folder and then was confused. Expedition, I was confused for like 5 minutes being like, where did I put it? And then I realized I put it in the Eberron folder, which is, to be clear, not the folder that we want. Okay. Now I have it. So it's going to be coming up
Suddenly
on
trains.
the stream. Yeah, it was very confusing. I was like, I don't understand. Okay. So, here we go. You're going to see it on the stream just as soon as I get there. D&D stuff, Beowulf, Age of Heroes, and this. Okay, here we go. Way too large. Hold on, resizing. There we go. That's more like it. Okay. This is what you see. The way I would describe this is there is a small farmhouse in front of you, and hobbling in front of it is this sad-looking donkey, like just all kind of ribs and skin, sort of seen hobbling around. And every so often does this, "Rrrr." Like you think that's a donkey bray, theoretically, but this is a farm in, massive decay at best. And as you get closer, Rickmod sort of chuckles slightly behind you and then says, trying to build life from death and not succeeding. It is what happens when you spend more time thinking of the earth as your plaything than as something which could destroy you. And the others sort of mutter below their breath but say nothing. The mood is foul, I think, Genevieve, might be the way to describe it.
Just like the earth.
Ha ha! You see what I did?
Ha ha.
Yes, exactly. Oh my God, I just opened the thing to show you another picture, and it literally said Beowulf fetch quests. That's not what this is, okay? All right.
No, it's a MacGuffin hunt.
It's a MacGuffin hunt. It's totally
well, we
different.
did have the MacGuffin hunt. This is now a different type of quest.
Totally different kind of quest. Okay.
I don't think this type of quest has like a special name, does it?
I would say, well, not the one that you're doing right now.
Yeah.
There is one, but it's a spoiler. So once we actually get what it is, then I'll tell you what the actual term is, because it would be like, oh, I'm looking for that. Okay. Let me get the picture of this person. Perfect. Okay. I have it. So yeah, but now you could stop before getting to the farm, but you can see it. Like, I guess the question is, do you want to slow down? Do you want to keep walking towards it full speed? Are you kind of stealthily approaching, or you're just announcing? Okay.
No, just openly walking.
Okay. All right. Dramatically even walking, you might even say.
We're like doing the thing in like TV show openings where like the whole gang walks in a line next to each other.
So, I was going to say it's the opposite, like where you do the the opposite of the explosion thing, where you're walking towards it dramatically. Might be what it is. Okay. So as you get closer, you can see there is a man who is dressed in a dirty tunic, who next to the farmhouse is one of these like uneven, rocky, I guess that's dirt, sort of, but it looks more like half grass and hillock. And you can see that there is this hunched over figure trying to push what looks like, you assume, a plow, like literally push a plow, or I should say pull it, I'm sorry, pull a plow through the earth behind him. And you can see that he's stumbling and almost falling over as he tries to do this. And as you get closer, I have a picture of him for you, which will be coming up here. And he is very clearly like emaciated and dirty, and he's pulling this plow, and he's angry. You can see that he's just Irish them. I'll take them all. I'll take them all down, no matter what. God, come on with you, and like is pulling the thing behind him. This plow was like past its sell-by date 10 years ago. Like, this thing is rusty. There's no way it's going to cut anything. Also, don't know if you know this, plows not normally like pulled by people. And when they try to pull them, it generally doesn't work, especially one person. But he is just doggedly while the donkey is wandering around near him.
Greetings.
And he turns, he says, "What? I don't have any crops for you. If you've got any more to say to me, you can do it somewhere else. I've got to get this God blessed," and then like fires out a bunch of curses towards all old way gods that you've ever heard. Like, just, curse the rain and the forest and the blah, 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 blah. As he's trying to, pull this thing. He's like, I've got to get these crops planted. Go ahead.
an appropriate one.
That, is that what you say?
Yeah, it's literally thunder bolt. Is that what heal is? I'm not sure. It's like one of those sayings that made it into modern German, actually, from like ye olden days. Which they say still in like northern Germany as like a curse, you know.
And he says, so you tell him that, and he's kind of like, I don't need lectures on curses.
No, she doesn't say that.
Oh, okay.
I
was hoping you would.
Going on a tangent again.
That'd be funny. But no, he's still angry. Clearly not angry at you per se, just at the situation.
Yeah, I figured. Well, first of all, I don't want any crops, and also I'm gonna stand over here now so that I can talk to you because he told me to talk to you somewhere else. And she like takes 3 steps.
Just don't get in my way. Oh, and he kind of almost staggers over as he pulls it forward. It just like the plow just sort of skates over the surface, doesn't even cut into the dirt.
Well, first of all, hi. I'm Genoveva, and you would be?
I would be a cursed man. That's what I am. God. Oh, God.
That name is a bit of a mouthful.
And he stops and he kind of stares at you and he says, if you must know my name, it's Aelstan. And he says, Aelstan, also known as the Cursed. And he angrily pulls at the plow, almost loses his grip.
So I've been sent here because I was told that you are having some trouble with like the previous landowner.
Trouble? All I have is trouble that God's cursed for. And he just like sort of mumbles and grumbles and then like gives a terrific yank at the plow, which just like unbalances and he nearly falls over and then curses. He stands up and he pounds the handle of the plow, and you can see that not only is he emaciated and dirty, but like his hands look bruised and blistered as if he's been pulling and pounding and gripping the handles trying to get this thing going clearly for a while. Genevieve, like you may not, I don't know how much you do or don't know about farming, how much Genevieve would know, but like clearly then yeah, like this has obviously been that you've seen a lot of farmers that have a lot of like calloused hands, not ones that are dealing with something like this where clearly nothing around here is growing. And he says, our land's been cursed by a god's damned elf. Now, you were asking about the name of this section, and it is The Farmer and the Ilf. YLFE. Ooh. And we have Live Suing doing a raid. Hello, Live Suing.
Hello.
Thank you, Live Suing. Good to see you live. Thank you so much. What's up? Thank you so much for the raid. I hope your stream went well. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to Beowulf. Thanks, Live Suing. Good to see you. So yes.
I'm assuming this is just the Old English word for elf.
Yes.
Okay.
But as you may know, you may know, that's of course not the Tolkien Legolas awesome looking version of an elf, right?
So for someone who's from a culture that actually has elves that predate
exactly
modern fantasy literature, I figured.
Yes, I knew you would know.
So yeah, I'm like more expecting weird forest sprite than anything else.
Yep.
And also, since we've already had a bit of like a Shakespearean tone in this adventure so far, maybe a little bit of Midsummer Night's Dream.
Yes.
Sprinkled in.
That's yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, yes, that's what Tari said is quite right. Ilfs are the old version, the old world version of elves are considered to be more at best mischievous and at worst like nasty.
The old
sorts
world
of spells.
version that like kind of implies that modern literature elves are American, which then would be even funnier. But if you're considering the Silmarillion,
Yeah,
because
that's right. That's right. No, that's right. But I wasn't thinking of it like old New World, like America. I'm just thinking like old, like time wise. We were
that is
having a
why
discussion.
they have potatoes in Middle Earth, because you see when the Noldor, when the flight of the Noldor happened, they brought potatoes with them from
Exactly.
the west.
You had no idea. Like, exactly. These
And also
potatoes will
tomorrow.
diminish and go into the west and remain potatoes. So yeah, so he says his land has been cursed by an elf, and he grabs
Yes.
at the plow again.
Oh, right. Who is that elf, and where may I find them?
And he pauses and just again and stares at you, and he says, "Why? Like as not, you'll go over there and it'll curse you too. There's nothing to be gained from dealing with that creature of death and blah, blah, blah."
Well, I mean, and she looks around pointedly. What do you have to lose?
And now he lets go of the plow, and his eyes widen, and you can see his brow furrowing. He looks absolutely furious. And he sort of stares at the land. Make a persuasion check for me, please, Genevieve.
This is the part where we fuck up. Oh no, a 19.
Absolutely not.
I knew that. I knew that I was.
Yeah. No, just tough. It was just tough love. You're just like, no, look, bro.
I always roll well.
Exactly. So you're just like, do you even Ilf?
Yeah.
And he kind of like, you're probably right, even if I deny it to myself. Well, come on. If you're here, you might as well be under a roof. And
that's kind.
He leaves the plow kind of tilted, like in the uneven dirt, and he goes towards the house. On the doorstep, you see two other figures, and I will show you a picture of those now. Save as like this. Good. I know how to spell that. Okay. Right. So I'll show you that on stream. Whoops. As well. Okay. Sitting on the stoop, you see these two figures. They are two, obviously, children, thin children, who are sitting on the doorstep. And they seem, at first you think that maybe they're like playing, because there may be like, they might be between the ages of 7 and 9 years old, possibly. But at first you think they're playing with something. And then as you get closer, you see that they're actually, it looks like, sifting through chaff, like oat chaff. And then as you look closer, you can see that they're sifting and then occasionally sniffing it and taking like a small little tentative bite and then kind of throwing it to the ground, as if they're basically sorting through oat chaff for any grain that might be left. And there doesn't seem to be any. And Ibn Mundir comes up behind you and whispers, "I haven't seen farmland." Sorry, wrong voice. "I have not seen farmland this fallow for a long time. What has happened to these people? Even in a place like this, it should not be this bad."
Yeah, well, we're trying to figure that out and hopefully help them.
And they look at you, the two children, and they say, they just stare at you with hollow eyes. And Ilston says, "These are my daughters, Gimi and Ida. Move aside, children." And they just slide out of the way, just silently staring at you like their eyes are hollow. And you recognize, Genevieve, the hollow eyes of hunger. You've seen it before. And they just slide to the right. And he walks past them and opens the door, which creaks open. and this is a sod-roofed farm cottage. And
Really, in a peatland.
who would have thought, right?
Who'd have thunk?
And inside the cottage, on a kind of small flat bed, is a woman. You can see that her eyes are closed.
Woman.
A woman.
Woman.
You can.
No, I'm doing animal.
Oh yeah, woman.
Woman. Oh.
I thought you were doing some weird like Conan thing, and I'm like, I don't
No,
understand. But, now
animal.
I get it.
Damn it.
Woman. Now I get it. No.
You know that I love the Muppets.
Of course. Who would
More than I
not love the Muppets?
Well, bad people. Litmus test to test if somebody is what a smart person asks if they like the Muppets.
Oh yeah. Anyone who that's like someone who'd be like, I don't like drinking water. Like, and I don't mean like I'm talking about
I mean,
air is not great for me. Like that's the kind of person who. Okay, so you see a woman who is her eyes are closed, and I have again. You'll be shocked to hear a picture of her too, which I will show on stream,
Sure.
right now. She is lying in this bed, and you can see that she is sunken cheeked. She also looks like she has not eaten well, but you also can see that her breathing is shallow, and the man Eelston, when he comes in, just sort of comes in and says, "We don't have any food, but you can sit down if you wish, safe from the rain." And he just sort of walks over, looks down at the woman in the bed, and then doesn't even shake his head, just sort of stares at her for a minute, and then turns away, and walks back to the door and is just sort of looking out the open door, which allows you a chance to kind of look at this woman. Her breathing is shallow, as I said. You can see that she's sunken-cheeked, her eyes are closed, and even from here, you can see the beads of sweat on her forehead, and trust me, the temperature around here should not be leading anyone to be sweating. She's obviously got a fever.
Yeah, Genofifa looks around. Where are the girls?
They are still
Kids?
sitting out on the stoop.
Ah.
You can actually see as you look back towards them, they are now looking over their shoulders at you, but they haven't moved.
And the dad went outside again, yeah?
He's just standing at the door looking outside.
Oh, okay.
So.
Elston, was it right?
That's correct. Yeah, Eelston. It's Ealhstan.
Oh, she's asking in character.
Yeah, no, I'm mentioning for your benefit. It's Eelston, yeah. And he turns.
Would it be all right if I used your hearth?
Aye, if you can get any value from it.
Yeah, try to get a fire going.
I would say that you. Are you going to try to burn peat, which is what one might expect that you might do, or something like
Yeah,
that?
they probably have dried peat here.
Yes.
For burning.
So here's why I asked that. When you try to burn it, it smolders but does not light. Which is odd. I mean, like, yes, it's damp, whatever, but like, you have enough fire going, it ought to be going. It ought to be able to go.
I also don't have anything to use for kindling.
Unless you start breaking things down. Have my weapon, please.
No.
What if Pete doesn't want to be burned? Not that kind of Pete.
No, in that case, I'm like thinking like my rations, like that would mainly be like oats, dry meat, possibly some cheese, dry fruit, maybe. Kind of depends also on like what we would have gotten in oh god, what was the place called again?
In Harrogate?
Harrogate.
Yeah. You still have some of that available to you if you wish.
Yeah, no, like what kind of food would they have had?
Oh, I see. Probably like, I would think dried meats. They would certainly have some fruits and berries there, and some edible plants. They did have some edible plants that they used. Harrogate was not in a terrible, everything is cursed as far as the land is concerned, the way it is here.
Oh, probably dried fish, obviously.
Yes, that's true too. Yep.
It's like trying to bread. How long ago? Like 2 days ago we left Harrogate?
I think maybe 3 by now, but that's no more than 3.
So if I count, yeah, I keep trying to get the fire going for now. Like really having at it. Can I take 10?
Yeah, I was gonna say. So,
uh,
I would say let me have you make. Actually, a survival check would be good for this.
oh boy.
Don't forget, by the way, chat. Tabletop inspirations are a thing. It is the month of April.
An unnatural
Oh,
20.
see, she was complaining about all these bad rolls this time. Now she's just like, pow. You just look at it, it lights on fire. No.
I can do no wrong.
But in this case, you do actually manage to get a smoldering fire going.
Okay.
It's fitful, but it does work. And it's very obvious, Genevieve, to you, something weird is going on here. Like I said, it shouldn't be this difficult, but you do manage to get it lit.
Yeah, okay, so I guess I can, if I can get enough of a fire going to get like a porridge going, you know, use up some of the remaining bread that we had.
Okay.
Probably also took some of the food from the longhouse.
Yes, I would imagine,
If that
and you
was an
could use
option.
that.
Yeah, then like would have stocked up.
Okay.
So like use some of that stuff to like cook food for everybody.
Okay. You can do that. And
How many rations do you? Oh God, how many rations would I have had to start out for this adventure?
well, since Harrogate, I would guess you would probably have enough to cover you and your followers for maybe 3 days, 3 days, I would think.
Oh, so just 3 days of rations.
I would think. Because the assumption always is that you also are going to get more wherever you end up. And of course, you thought you were just going to head home until this happened. So. But you would have gotten probably another day's worth from the longhouse, though. So that helps.
Yeah, but like also would have used up 1 day of rations at.
Right, but that would be
dwarf
replenished
place.
from the longhouse, is what I'm saying. So like you'd be back
Oh,
to.
okay, so I'm back at 3.
Yeah, exactly.
So okay, how much do you want me to mark off for this then?
I would say mark off, since you're feeding an entire family.
Yeah.
I would say mark off a day. So you're down to like 2 days worth instead of 3. So basically, you use the longhouse rations on this essentially.
Okay.
Now, who are you? I know you want to feed all of them. Are you like prioritizing one over the other, like the woman
Not
who's
feeding all of them, everybody equally.
okay? Who are you personally going to be focusing your attention on while they're being fed?
Like I'm
Like the woman who's feverish,
probably probably the mom.
Okay, I would like you to make a medicine check for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Master Expert, can I roll perception at +0 looking for irregularities compared to a basic poor farm cottage? This is an advanced poor farm cottage.
17.
Wow, these rolls. Yes, you are actually able to nurse the woman back to a little bit of health. It is...
Yeah, probably just that she's underfed and then that kills her immune system and
Exactly.
then she catches something. Yeah,
exactly. So you manage to do a little bit of that, and as takes a couple of hours, but by the time you're done with it, the children are now inside the hut, just sort of huddled against near the door, staring at you again, have not said anything. The Ilstan has now gone back outside. You can hear his cursing as he's trying to pull the plow through the field. The woman sort of coming back to life, sort of puts a hand to her brow. Who are you? Who are you?
I'm Genofefa, and you need to rest.
I've already rested a lot. Where's my husband?
Where is the husband? Good question.
God's You hear him cursing outside.
Yeah, I'm gonna send Galib to go fetch him.
Okay. And she says, "Why have you come to us, Genevieve?"
Well, I met three very interesting women, let's say, who told me, and one of them told me to come here to see if I can help you.
And she says, "We're grateful, but I don't know how you can overcome a curse. Since we've been here, it's the elf. We haven't been able to help our children ourselves. And she kind of like shakes her head. And at this point, Ilstan comes in with, you sent Galib, I think you said, to get him. And both of them walk in. And Ilstan looks and he says, "Baba, you're awake. You're awake. And he walks over and sits down and sort of caresses her hair, and she reaches up to him. You notice Genevieve, she doesn't look exactly like the rest of the family. She's obviously emaciated too, but you notice that she seems, for all of the sort of sunkenness, there's some spark, something that's different about her compared to the others in this house. And she says, "You need to get some rest, Ilston." "I can't get rest until I get this field working. We got to plant crops if we're to... I've got to feed you." You can hear his voice break. And she reaches up to him and she says, "It's not your fault, Ilston. This has never been your fault, except you're too stubborn. But that's what I love about you too." And Ilston sort of like grips her hand, and then he sort of stands up and he says, "I'm grateful to you for helping her. I didn't think that anything could work or grow in this cursed land."
Well, we didn't get the food here, so but also can you tell me of what exactly happened here?
And he sighs, and he says, "Well, and he is sort of frustrated, and then he says, "I came here a while ago, and my wife and I here, she had just had our children, our babies, and we wanted to make and eke out a living here. It would be small, but it would be ours. At first, it was good. Not easy, but manageable, and this is a peaceful place. It can be beautiful sometimes. The children grew up, and there was a spark about them, just like there was about you," he says, looking at his wife. "And then that bastard Ulf came." And he sort of grumbles, and she says, "He says he was always here, Ilston." "It don't matter. He should have accepted us here. We built a farm. We're not taking much from him, if anything." And his wife says, Baba says, "The Ilf doesn't think we belong here. He wanted us to leave. But Ilsten here says we don't have the strength to start again. He had a plan to let the elf accept us and get on with farming. And the elf doesn't want us to. Ilsten thinks that the elf cursed the land, and I think that's right." And Ilsten says, "That's right. I imagine they'd want to taunt us, show us what food's like elsewhere, but not here. But I won't back down against that thing. I've been pushed out of too many other places before. Finally, we found a place we could call our own, and this thing wants to kick us out of it." And Baba sort of says, "But he's done what he's done, Ilsten." "Aye, and I'll do what I do." And the children still silent by the door looking at you.
Does that elf have a name?
And the farmer sort of shakes his head and says, "We've never had the chance to find out. All that I've ever seen, this ugly thing. It comes to us, screams and yells at us to get off his land. I told it to get away from my farm. It could have everything else. I could even give it some of my food. But no, it never told me its name. Just that I would learn to curse it. And I have. God's deaths to it."
So you never actually had a real conversation with him?
"It won't listen. We've tried to talk to it before, and all it says is to get off the land.
Where may I find it? Do you know that?
And he says, well, mound. A place where the thing lives. Not that far away. If you go towards the mound, you might find that thing. Much good may it do you or me.
And she walks up to the door and can you show me the direction?
And he points, and he sort of gets out to the door, and he points out, and actually not that far away, well within sight, I don't know how far, 1,000 feet maybe, you can see there is a round mound of dirt, and you can't quite tell from here, but it looks blackened. Maybe that there's something on top of it. You can't quite tell, Genevieve, that's covering it, but as opposed to being dark green and all, this is all black. And he points to it and he says, not that would matter. It's not going to listen to you any more than it listens to me.
Well, I'm going to try anyway. How long have we been awake?
Only a couple hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how far away is this mound?
2 minutes. You should be able to get, it's really close actually.
In that case, yeah, let's go.
When you walk out of the door, so that you're clear of the kids and the wife, Eelston says, and again you see the pathetic donkey kind of like just hobbling around. He comes out and he says, I don't know what you'll be able to do with it, but I don't know what to do about any of this. This thing, and he points at the donkey. It seems like a cruelty to keep this thing alive. It hasn't had anything to eat, just like the rest of us. There are by the stream, some poisonous rushes. I've thought of feeding the donkey some of it just to put it to sleep forever. I don't want to keep it alive and keep it so sick and in pain. But my children love it. If we kill it, it'll be more unkindness. It's the only thing that grows here, those poisonous pieces of grass. I figure that Ilf is taunting us. Look at the things that grow. Eat it and die. He kind of shakes his head. Maybe I should make us all a soup of it and just finish the whole business.
Yeah, I don't think, I assume you're talking about the donkey and not about the elf. But I don't think the donkey is going to be very nutritious at this point. How about I talk to the elf first?
And he nods. He says, all right, you won't get anywhere, but I appreciate you trying. And he turns around and sort of walks away. The donkey kind of brays pathetically and weakly. As you make your way towards the mound, Rickmod behind you says, the place is all death already. Can you bring life back to some place that is chosen to be dead?
We'll see.
When you get close to the mound, you can see why it was all black, because there is this, as you see, not even more a mound, it's more almost like a little mini plateau. And on top it, Genevieve, are this large pile of ashes and mostly blackened ends of tree limbs. This might have been a grove at one time, but it's long since, died away and not been there. And there is a small doorway in one side of this plateau/mound that's made from 4 simple stone blocks. And through the door, you can see sitting on the ground a creature. And I have a picture of said creature, which I will show you on stream in just a sec. Okay. There's that. And There we go. All right, and I will show you this picture. So many pictures. Right now. It is this long-eared, long-nosed creature that sits looking absolutely stick-thin and miserable. And you can see it just sort of sitting cross-legged, staring out the door. Even when it sees you, it makes no comment, but just continues to stare and look off into the, quote, horizon. But if you look a little closer, you can see that it's staring right at the farmhouse.
One moment. Looking for something. Where is it? Unless I grabbed the wrong book, which is entirely possible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, grabbed the wrong book. Doesn't matter. Was looking for a specific picture of like what I assume this thing looks like. And yeah, so yeah, Genofifa like sees him looking, sitting there. Is like, are they like acknowledging that we are here, or just?
It clearly sees you. It has not acknowledged you yet.
Okay. Greetings.
Nah.
Nah. Well, I am Genofifa, and these are my friends. And
Why should I care what you are? You're in my view.
She takes a step to the side. Better?
Doesn't say anything, just stares at the farmhouse.
So I noticed that your mount here doesn't look so healthy.
I wonder why.
I wonder the same too.
You've already talked, I saw, to that creature. Why don't you ask him? Why don't you ask him why all of us are dying here at the same time? The interloper. The one who stole my land, the thief.
According to him, you cursed the land. But I have a feeling that this is not entirely what's going on here.
Cursed the land. Of course. That's what I did, because I asked for my land to be mine. But no, he told me he'd been driven away. He needed a place to stay. Well, we can all starve together then. And you can see, by the way, that obviously clearly angry, but you can also see that, like, now you may, I don't know that you'd have to tell me. I don't imagine that Genevieve has a lot of experience with elves, but like this thing looks, even with, I mean, it's obviously not human, but it clearly also looks really sick and like not in good shape, good condition, even for whatever it is.
When is the last time you've eaten?
Too long. I don't want to eat food off of stolen land.
Well, I didn't get the food here, so that should be fine then, right? And she rummages through her bag and gets out, I guess, some dried sausage.
Dried sausage. Human food. But even if I wanted to eat it, I wouldn't be able to. Oh. I can't get out and you can't get in. At least not yet.
What do you mean not yet?
I mean exactly what I said. The old ways keep elves and humans from being in contact. Kinnefith may be old, but he's not old as that yet. It's not Kinnefith, Kinnefrith. Cynefrith. Kinnefrith.
I just write all of these phonetically.
Okay. So Kinnefrith.
Because English spelling makes no sense.
Do you care about the old ways?
That kind of depends. I think a lot of things could be considered old ways.
Well, if you want to enter an elf hill, or have an elf leave to take food or any gift from a human, you need to find the keys. Probably you don't care to find the keys. You just want to help the human farmer steal more of my land.
No, I actually want to help both of you.
I can't help both of us. One of us is a thief, and one of us is the person that's been stolen from.
Well, I think the first thing is to make sure that you get some food in your tummy.
I can't get anything right now, unless you find the keys. Find them, and then I can give the food. Well, there's the... And he kind of looks. Why would you care? Why would you want to actually give me food? Is it poisoned?
No, it's because you seem hungry.
He kind of looks. Yeah. And he kind of like, sort of rubs. You can hear like a little bit of a rumbling, probably his stomach. And, well, if you want to waste your time, I can't stop you. There's 3 stones. A white stone, a blue stone, and a blue stone pebble. You have to bring those first.
A white stone, a blue stone, and a blue pebble?
Yep, white stone, a blue stone, and a blue stone pebble.
And where might those be?
They're in a stream. There's one that runs behind my house.
As soon as he says stream, her island twitches.
Is this like a meta reference, or am I?
No, because of like last time, she like fell into the river.
Oh yeah,
multiple times.
That's right. Yeah, you just hear no. And there's like Mundir like booking it like down. Yeah, no.
So all of them are in the stream, or?
As far as I know.
Right. Let's go look for some stones in a stream then. How hard can that be?
Exactly. How hard can anything be? Good luck. Make sure you don't fall in the curse that I supposedly put on this place. Puh! And he spits on the ground.
Oh, speaking of which, so did you curse the land or did you not?
No.
No, you
We've
did not.
all been cursed together.
Oh, by whom? Or by what?
I don't know. All I know is that
know?
the thief stole my land and everything worked from then. And now he keeps yelling at me and I keep telling him to get off my land and stop stealing my food. The only way to end the curse is for him to take him and his stupid family away and stop stealing my things.
Wait, how would you know that is what would fix a curse?
It's obvious. I wasn't cursed before he showed up.
Does the name Modor mean anything to you?
Modor?
That's a lady who told me to come here.
Maybe she was hoping you'd waste your time. I don't know any Modor.
Well, that's well enough then. But she told me that you were especially angry about the farmer taking iron from the ground.
It's because iron is mine. It's because it's valuable. It's because we need it. And it's not his to take. I don't go into the human lands, into their villages, and take things. What if I took their children? What would they think then? Then it would be, oh, the Ilfs are evil. Then it would be, oh, old Kinnefrith, there he is, a monster. And here's old Kinnefrith living on his own, not bothering nobody, until this thing shows up.
I'm just wondering, did the farmer start to mine the iron immediately after arriving or only a bit later?
I don't remember exactly. I think it might have been a little later. But all I know is that it wasn't his to mine. The farm isn't his to live on. None of this is his.
Well, I'm just wondering, what if taking the iron was what, like specifically the iron, is what cursed the land?
And he shrugs. How should I know? It wasn't his to take, that's all that I know.
Well, I guess for now I'll just go look for the keys and maybe I will find out anything else of interest in the meantime.
And he spits
you
again.
You don't go anywhere! Haha!
He spits again. And as you're walking away from him, your followers kind of like are following after you, and Galib says, "Are you sure that we can actually help this thing? If both of these ones are as stubborn as each other, how do we convince either one of them that they're not all right?"
Well, first of all, I think that nobody makes good decisions on an empty stomach. So maybe just making sure that Kinnefrith eats something will already help.
Maybe. But the elves are tricky creatures, and finding ourselves up against one would be dangerous. You need to tread carefully again, Ovifa.
It will be fine.
When you get down to the stream, you can see this stream running along in the back, and actually, I think you can see a picture of it. Let me just drop this quickly. Looking at the farm, you can see that there's a little stream at the bottom left of the picture that's kind of running up towards the farm. It is, brackish and like I guess it's flowing, but that's not saying a whole lot. And you can see that there are these very like thriving, flourishing reeds and rushes that sort of wave slowly in the wind next to the stream.
Okay. So is this outside of the cursed land, or is there like cursed land around it?
This allegedly is part of the cursed land. This is the thing that the
something
farmer
growing
told you.
healthily.
Well, yeah, this is the thing the farmer told you was the only thing that grew here were these things.
Okay. Yeah, I want to have a closer look at those reeds.
Okay.
See if there's anything special about them.
Important. Are you touching them?
No.
Okay. Should I?
When the GM asks like this, the answer is always no. I am definitely not, and I'm also wearing steel gloves.
Yeah, sure, exactly. I've got a full hazmat suit, and okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the one thing I can say for sure, they look like normal reeds and rushes, but it is the fact that literally everything else around is rotting or dying or dead or whatever, except for these things that just kind of like, gradually sort of swing back and forth in the wind. Next to this trickling stream.
Yeah, if I can see nothing else of interest from those reeds, I guess we are going to start looking for the pebbles.
Okay. I should have had Tari roll an in check again to see if she does actually touch those. I decide, shiny. Okay.
Well, I would have touched them, but FIFA wouldn't.
Okay. So, as you are looking in the stream, you can quickly see the pebbles, and they're right there. You can see there's a bunch of white stones and blue stones, and there's a couple of small blue stones that are pebbles. And one of Galib actually says, "I don't understand why he wouldn't get it himself. These are so easy." And Guy says, "Elves can't cross running water."
I thought that was vampires, but...
And Guy shrugs.
Wait, how do you know that, Guy?
And he sort of looks, "Heard of it."
Well, let's grab these and let's go back.
Okay. When you bring it back, again, Kinnefrith is still staring out the window, or at the door, rather, at the farmhouse.
I think I got your keys. What do I do with them now?
Yeah. Let me see.
Yeah, she, holds them out for him to see.
Toss me the small one, the blue stone pebble.
Okay. Oh, yeah, she tosses it.
And then it sort of grabs it, looks at it. Good. And kind of puts it to the side. All right. That's one key. Then there's a word key. And So there are. It sort of looks at you and says, "What way would you enter? A boar, bulrushes." And he kind of like stares and kind of laughs at you, or not laughs. I shouldn't say at you. Sort of chuckles in general, and then he says, "Can you answer this riddle? I am a thing welded in strife, dear to my king, finely adorned. My mail I smooth in bright wire twines, the death ring my ruler gave me. I hurt others harshly. I am widely hated by the wise."
Can you put that in chat for me, please?
Sure. Okay. Let me see if I can. Okay. Okay, I put it in Twitch chat. I am a thing welded in strife, dear to my king, finely adored. My mail I smooth in bright wire twines, the death ring my ruler gave me. I hurt others harshly. I am widely hated by the wise.
The death ring my ruler gave me? I don't understand that one.
Apparently this whole thing
Chat,
is
help.
referring to one thing. All right, what do you think, chat? Genevieve turns to her multiple followers who are all like,
But like, how is lack of knowledge welded in strife? Adorned. Is ignorance welded in strife? I'm like, these are a lot of difficult words. Wait. To look up some word definitions. Okay.
he also says, "If you can't figure that one, I can give you another one. You can choose one of these."
Oh, all right. Maybe let me try the other one.
"I break the vine and acorn both. In old age my mouth is hard. When I dream of food, my teeth the plow of soil and flesh. At my death I will run the spear road to take my killer with me on the red path." I put that in chat too. Can I have a 50-50 Joker?
What the spear road? Oh, god damn it.
What's the matter?
Kennings. I hate kennings. They're like so obscure. I'm not old enough for that. I need to be like roughly 2,000 years older to understand these.
What's the matter?
1,500 years
Curse
older.
got your tongue?
Yeah. I have no clue. God damn it, these are hard. Anybody else got any ideas?
I give you one last one. Any of
Oh,
these
God.
3 will work.
Do you just have like an endless list of riddles? For me to solve?
No. You have to get one of these 3.
Okay.
So he says, "The riverbank I make my home. A host of tall standers, brown heads, green legs, the bringer of sleep." And I put that one in chat too.
Bringer of sleep?
The bringer of sleep.
Do reeds bring sleep? These reeds probably bring sleep. That's why I was warned about them. They're poison.
Those reeds are poison. Poison.
Can I get a nature check to like get a better idea of those reeds that we saw?
Like the name of what they would be? Sure, I'll allow that,
Or
assuming
like
that's
more
what you're
information about it.
Yes. Can you? But just so yes, but we need to specify what you're looking for in the nature check.
Well, like medicinal uses, for example, poison types.
Gotcha. Okay.
Usage.
Sure.
Are they safe to touch? Blah blah blah.
Okay. Wow,
I'm on the wrong
19,
tab.
just on fire with these.
Yeah.
So, yes, bull rushes like these, the rushes and reeds are usually completely safe. In fact, you've never heard of them being poisonous, but very clearly, Eilsten told you that they were poisonous. And so you don't know what that's about. They're the only thing that are actually growing here, as I mentioned.
Bulrushes is what they're called.
Yes. Those reeds are poison. Poison.
Oh yeah. Ah, this is the hard.
Yep.
Damn it.
One of these thou must answer.
So what's the difference between reeds and bulrushes?
These are bulrushes. They're just a particular kind of. The biggest difference is that they have. They used to call these also, unfortunate name, pussy willows. They have like this little thing at the very top of the reed, like a fuzzy.
That's not pussy willows.
tip.
Pussy willows is a type of tree.
No, that's weeping willows are a type of tree, at least
No,
in
no, no, no.
English.
Pussy willows are like a different type of tree apart from.
Oh well,
willows.
in America though, we call those like a reed with a little fuzzy thing at the top. That's what we call.
Oh
pussy
no,
willows.
it's like a type of willow that has like these little floofy white bits growing on.
Oh, interesting.
Like
Yeah, no, that's. I always when I was growing up, we called those pussy willows. Not those trees, what you just said, but what I was suggesting. But yeah, the other ones were weeping willows. I actually really like weeping willows.
Yeah, same. I'm gonna be right back, and Fefa marches back to the creek.
Okay.
River, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, if I fall asleep and or die, you know that the correct answer was what did you call them? Bulrush? Was bulrushes? And then you can help the elf. So
and like Galib says, wait a minute. You can't take those. If you go, you can't be dying. There's got to be some better way to do this.
like what?
Well, without touching it, to collect it without touching it, something.
No, it is to test if it's gonna put me to sleep.
But it might test by putting you to death.
So how do I test it then without it doing that?
They've already told you that it made them sick. Perhaps you could, I don't know, talk to someone else or bring it to them.
I could ask about the symptoms. Very good. Let's go.
Okay, where do you march?
Back to the farmhouse.
Okay. When you come to the farmhouse, you can see that the girls are back out on the stoop, just sort of sitting there looking up at you. I shouldn't say the girls, I should say the children, one boy, one girl. And Ilfstan is still like cursing away in his field. The donkey is just standing there with his head down, basically off to the side of the house. But when you come in, you can see that Baba, the wife, is now sitting like on the side of the bed. Not up, but like at least, not lying down.
Elston.
Yeah?
So you warned me about the reeds, right?
Aye, they're dangerous.
What? Like, how do you know that they're dangerous?
Well, we didn't know, but we were trying to figure out something to eat before, and I was already nervous, but Baba said she was going to try something. Perhaps she could make something to keep us all moving. She tried a little bit of it, and, well, I didn't think she was going to make it until you arrived.
All right. What exactly happened, like in detail, after she ate it?
I wasn't there. I came over and found her just lying by the river, brought her back, tried to get her to wake up. Then all I could think to do was get crops planted, get some food into her if I could.
I see. Oh, okay, thank you. I'm gonna go talk to Baba now. Bye.
He just kind of curses to himself as you go back to
Yeah.
the hut or to the house. Okay, so she's sitting again, as I said, on the side of the bed.
Right, I'm back. Say, Baba, your husband said that you ate some of the bulrushes?
Perhaps it was a stupid thing to do, but I was trying to figure out something to feed the family, and, well, it was the only thing that actually grew around here. But when I had it, I felt pain in my stomach, and then, well, the next that I remember was waking up here looking at you. I don't know exactly what happened, but, well, I thought perhaps I might be spared a little bit of it. Well, I thought I might be able to handle it better than Eelston or the children.
Well, that answers my question, so I'm gone again. Bye.
Okay. She looks at you as you leave.
Yeah, back to the mound.
Okay.
Because now we know that the answer is bulrushes.
Okay. Okay. And so when you get back, he's still staring out at the farmhouse.
Hello, Kinefrith. I think the word we are looking for, or you are looking for, is bulrush?
And he kind of stares at you. That's right. It took you long enough, but you figured it out. And you can say, I should have said, too, that he was like holding in his hand is the little blue pebble stone. Again, he's still staring at the farm, but he's holding the stone. And he says, all right. Well, you've almost gotten into the mound. But there's one thing that's left. You know, we're not all just shiny pebbles and riddles. If you want to speak with me or have me come out to speak with you, you're going to have to sacrifice for it. And he says, if you go behind, and he points there, you'll see something you need to bring to me.
All right. I will go have a look at what that thing is then.
So 2 things to note about that. And first of all, it is by the side of the house that he's pointing. And there are a pile of stones that are piled by the side of the house. And you notice, Genevieve, that they look, they're clearly very old because they have coats of sort of thick moss. They've obviously been dug up. But you can see that they are carved stones, that they were obviously not natural. They were shaped and formed in some way. And in some spots, because they're just sort of piled haphazardly, you can see on the bottom side, the side that is not covered with moss of each of the stones, there's some kind of blue-gray granite, maybe, that's flecked with quartz. So it's this, it's not just a standard everyday stone. It's obviously been shaped in some way. But on the other side of it, you can see there is a yew wood bowl, a shallow wooden bowl that's on the other side of this pile of stones.
Yeah, pick it up, have a look at it.
It looks like, as you're sort of looking at it, it looks kind of stained by something. And I would like a perception check from you. See if you can
Is
figure
it
out what stained
blood? That's a 6.
it. Something stained
Might
it.
possibly be blood.
Definitely stained.
Yeah, she picks it up, has a look at it, and then goes over to Elston. Hey, I'm back again.
Yeah.
Can you tell me what's up with this bowl here?
I keep trying to throw that thing away, but it keeps sending up by the stones. I don't know why. I guess it's the Ilf's doing again. Hope he can choke on it, whatever he's doing with it.
Most people eat what's inside bowls, not the bowls itself.
I wouldn't
So
eat anything
choking
that
on
that
it-
Ilf has anything to do with it.
I'm not gonna make a joke about, growing any food on the land now. Zip. So, there's some weird stains in it. Do you know what's up with that?
No. I throw it away when I see it. Anything I can do to get rid of it, the better.
Is it always in the same spot after you throw it away?
Close, yes. I should have just
Close, always
thrown
at
it
the
in the
stone.
river or buried it.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Going back to the stones and having a closer look to those,
Okay.
seeing if I can find any clue there.
Yeah, you don't see anything obvious, but make an investigation check for me as you're looking at these stones.
No, that's a 3.
Definitely stones. You think maybe it just takes a little blood, Triffid? Just a little blood.
Right. Okay. I'm just gonna take the bowl and bring it back to the mound.
Okay. So you bring it back, and again, Kinnefrith is just, same spot.
Well, I assume you meant this thing here? And she holds up the bowl.
That's the one. You found it. All you need to do is a bit of your own life force, if you will, if you want to come in here. A bit of blood. I don't care whose. I'm not picky. And you hear Rick Mod say, "Death everywhere, as I said."
Well, that's quite all right then. And she just gets out her knife and just nicks. I don't know. What's a safe space? Everybody always complains about when in movies and stuff, people always have to do a blood sacrifice. They always cut the palm of their hand.
Right.
And then people are like, no, this is the worst fucking spot you can cut.
I'd say right the carotid artery is a good spot, just right.
No,
plenty of blood there.
Yeah, I guess just the tip of her finger.
Okay.
And just put a single drop of blood in there.
Okay. So when you sort of put let the drop of blood happen, there's a moment where you feel this, I guess I would call it sort of stabbing pain, and several more drops of blood than you had intended come out of your finger. You're going to take 2 hit points of damage, Genevieve, but I have some good news for you. You get an inspiration point in your player pool. So you have done that.
Does this inspiration carry over to next session?
Yes, because this is part of the adventure. That's right.
Okay.
So, okay.
Because I don't know, how much longer are we going?
We should be going for another, I think, about 25 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, 25 minutes. Yep.
Okay.
So, so you do that, and you bring it back, and then what do you do with it? You have this bowl of blood now.
Yeah, I'm done now. What do I do with it?
And he says, "All right, just move it just bring it with you inside the door."
All right. And just steps in.
And when you step in, you just step in, and you are now standing in the midst of this mound. You can see that he's still playing with the blue pebble stone, sort of still looking at it. Does not pay much attention to you, except that now you are inside of it. And Kinnefrith says, "All right, you've made it inside. Now you can talk with me properly. Not that I think there's much to say. All that you need to know is that farmer stole my land."
Well, also you need to eat something, and she like starts rummaging in her bag again. Like, you said you don't like sausages. How about a carrot? And she gets out a carrot.
And he kind of narrows his eyes. You sure that carrot's fresh? Not poisoned?
She like takes a little bite of it. Yeah.
And he kind of
Crunch.
he grunts and reaches up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eats. I love, by the way, that what Genevieve has been doing in this entire thing is basically like the Snickers bar commercials, where it's like, you're not yourself
right.
when you don't eat. Like, you just have this, you know. So now he turns into George Clooney, and everything's fine. No.
In her defense, she literally used to be a cook.
No, right.
Like,
I like
mainly,
just like
that's her main thing, like cooking and baking and making beer.
Yeah. No,
it's like she's a food person.
I see it.
Yeah.
So he kind of like crunches and it's not bad. Well, I guess I should thank you for the carrot. Not that you would have gotten one from that farmer. Yeah. And kind of like,
yeah, well, he can't grow any.
he shouldn't be able to grow any. It's not his land.
Do you need anything more to eat? I don't know how much elves need to eat.
No.
And what they eat.
I'll do much better when we all get off the land. At least when they get off the land and I can get back to having mine. I've always lived here. It's not like I can leave. I can't let any of these things happen. I can't let him pull up the stones. I can't let him burn my trees. What are the old ways?
Let's go back a little bit. Why don't you like slowly like lay out for me what happened exactly when the farmers came in? First of all, what was it like before
it was peaceful. It was my land. I got to do what I wanted with it. And I didn't bother anyone, and they didn't bother me.
What was your land like? Like, I noticed, for example, that there were like burnt tree stumps.
That was his doing. He did that. He came, and once I saw him, I went over and told him that it wasn't his land. He said that he had to be here, that he had no choice. And the reason was because there was something else there. There were these things. He said something about oath breakers of oaths, something. And they said they had taken his home, and so he came here. And he said he didn't have anywhere to go. And I said that wasn't my problem. And he said it wasn't his problem either. And then he yelled at me, and I yelled at him. And I said that I wasn't going to let it stay. And so I went back to my home. Next thing I know, he's yelling at me outside. I yelled at him back. So then I told him he wouldn't be able to eat anything as long as he stayed on the land. A couple of days later, he came back over, said that I'd been breaking his food and harming his crops. And then he brought torches. He burned the trees on the top of my mound, if you can believe it. He literally burned my land. Well, at that point, I knew there would be nothing between us. It would be all about vengeance. So I waited, and then I made sure that the next thing he ate that grew would be his last one. But he hasn't eaten it. He's just sat there and starved, while I sit here and starve. And he kind of grumbles.
Do you mean the bulrushes? Did you make the bulrushes grow?
Yes, at least somewhat. They were more poison than I thought they would be, but that's probably his fault. He burned my trees, and he pulled up the sacred stones, and he points at the mound of stones. He didn't ask to do that, he just did it.
Well, that's not nice.
That's right. That's what I said. It's not like I bother other people. I'm just here. I wouldn't walk into his house and take his stuff, but he did that to me. What if the humans and elves used to have an accord? We should be leaving bowls of milk with me and sharing his harvest, not burning and uprooting and tearing and taking my place. That his brats and him should eat the harvest that I gave them of those rushes and fall asleep forever. And then they would have peace, and I could reset the stones the proper way.
So what I'm gathering here is if the farmer and his family would be sticking to the accord, things would be all right?
You'll never convince him to do that. He doesn't believe in the old ways. And even if he did, the stones are already broken. And he points at the stones.
Would there be a way to repair them?
And he kind of, I don't know. I mean, well, there's, and he sort of thinks about it and then says, there's a cliff nearby.
A cliff.
It's made of blue stones, like this one. And he holds up the blue pebble that he's been playing with. He says,
all right.
But you won't be able to get to it because there's a fierce boar who lives there, an ancient guardian, an enemy of the elf. If a human comes close, the boar will kill them just like it would kill an elf like me. And so I have to sit here and look at broken stones.
What if I fed the boar the bulrushes?
And he sort of like rubs his chin. Feed the boar the bulrushes. I don't know. I never really thought about it. At least it probably wouldn't be enough to kill it, but maybe it would be fall asleep or something. I hadn't thought of that, but even so, you'd have to get close enough. It might see you.
Well, I can just lay out some bulrushes and let it come to it.
He nods.
I mean, if the
Maybe.
boar, like the boar probably also hasn't eaten in a long time. If the
No, that boar has no problem eating. It doesn't feed on rushes, if you know what I mean. But you might be able to convince it if you could somehow make the rushes appetizing. Well, I hadn't thought about it, but it's a good idea. It's an idea an elf should have had. But it's not an idea that's likely to work. It's too dangerous, you'll probably die, and you don't care about elves anyway.
If I wouldn't care, would I be... If I would not be caring, would I be sitting here?
Even if you could find the stones, though, the farmer's still on my land.
But you said that things would be all right if he would be sticking to the older courts.
Yes, but he'd have to bring milk for me, and he doesn't do that. And he'd have to figure out a way to not burn and uproot. He'd have to replant the trees, and he wouldn't do that either. And, well...
But if he did that anyway?
Well, if I had wings, I'd be a bird, but I don't. And I'm an elf, and an elf stuck in his mound, watching as humans take his land. If you can figure out a way to do this, well, you're better than most humans I know.
Well, I think I can prove you wrong.
And he shrugs. It's your decision to make. I can't stop you. But don't blame me if you're gored by the boar, or poisoned, or the farmer tells you to go away, or I don't know, whatever they do.
So first of all, like, what exactly are the old accords, besides the milk and the planting trees?
There was a chance, before, that elf and human could get along. There used to be accords between elves and humans, if you can believe it. Some people say that humans and elves could even love each other. I don't believe that. But there are some people who say that there were those who were born to elves and humans. Well, if humans agree to help farm the land with the elf, and give them food, and show them respect, and plant the trees, and keep the stones in place, well, something could have been done. But that was before this one ruined it all.
All right. Yeah, I think I know enough. I'll be leaving for now, but I'll be back.
Make sure that you get back alive, and not dead from a tusk in your side, or from poison in your veins.
I will be fine. Why, are you worried about me?
Nah. And you can see he angrily is like, "Peh," spits again.
Right. I see you later.
Yeah.
Nyeh.
As you
Yeah,
walk
she
out, you can
walks
hear
off.
him humming like some kind of spitting and humming to himself.
Right, going back to the hut.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna be like I'm gonna call over Elston so that we can like have a chat with the wife too. Just
Okay.
like relay what I learned about the older court. And then
Okay.
ask, so why didn't you stick to the older court?
And now, and you're saying this just to be clear, with Baba and Elfstan both there, right?
Yes.
Like, okay. Are the kids there? Do you like? And by that I mean, do you bring the parents in like to have a small convo quietly, or do you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. It's like the kids can be there if they want to.
Okay.
Probably not too interesting. What usually happens here. So,
Yeah, that's pretty much what you would think too. And so they kind of, Baba and Elfstan look at each other, and Elfstan says, "That was long ago. There wasn't any kind of. It was long ago before this fight began, before he cursed our land."
Well, Kinefris, that is his name, by the way, said that he didn't curse the land, that the curse came by itself.
He's lying. You can't trust an elf. Never trust an elf. Sorry, I couldn't resist. And Baba, now, I want an insight check, please.
Well, we already know that Baba has some elf blood, because, Chekhov's gun.
Oh, yes.
Chekhov's bow, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Chekhov's bow.
Insight, you said.
Yes.
That's an 18.
18, yeah. When he says the thing about you can't trust an elf, you can see Baba visibly flinch.
Baba, why did you flinch just now?
What do you mean? I wasn't. I was just. Well, I'm not feeling well, and I just.
Yeah, I know you're a bad liar, but why did you flinch?
Eelstan looks at her. And Eelstan is like, just sort of like turns his head. Baba says, "My grandmother, she danced in the moonlight around an Ilf mound when she was young. She grew heavy with child. The grandfather was never one for marriage, but he agreed to a marriage to save her from punishment. So my mother was half an elf herself. I have some elf blood, and Elfstan kind of sort of is just staring down at the ground, and she says, I never wanted to upset you about it, Elfstan." And he says, "You're more human than elf. You're different. It's not the same. Elves are elves. You're you."
Racism copium.
Yep. Cognitive dissonance. Yeah.
Yeah. So the way I figured things are here is that the land got cursed because the older courts were broken. And I think the land can be uncursed if the older courts are being put back in place.
And he says, "The older courts? Well, how? What do? We can't just put the stones back, can we? They're all broken anyway, and we can't get any from that cliff. There's that big boar there."
Well, I figured we could use the bull rushes to incapacitate the boar if we get to eat them.
Baba sort of nods, and she says, "I heard the old stories of Bristleback the boar. They say that Bristleback the boar wasn't always a boar. Once he was a man named Sawain, and he loved to drink and dance to music. And Elfston says, maybe, but that sounds like an elf story. And then he sees his wife. He's like, I mean, sorry. It just, I don't know whether there's truth to it, but yes, they say that the boar was a man once, and he could be lured somehow. But look, even if we do all of this, even if we get all the accords, it's not going to matter if we can't figure things out about plowing the field, and you're not even, he points at Baba, you're not even healthy. You're still sick. You need some healing, and I can't figure out how to do it. And well, we need water that's not the sour water from the soil that hurts everything, and we need, and he just sort of is like,
we need,
rattling
and
off.
she reaches into her bag, some ale.
He's like, no, that's not what we do. So, and Baba
Did
says,
I mention that she's a brewer?
yes. And Baba sort of shakes her head, and she says, if we could maybe do something to help us and, well, help the elf, then there's no helping that elf, Elfston says. And Baba says, we're not going to survive on our own, Elfston. And he just growls and stares.
You can either choose to keep doing what you are doing and, how do I put this nicely, pay the consequences, or you try to make reparations and hope for a better future.
And he kind of like stares at his wife, and she looks back at him, and she says, you know that the children and me will always be there with you, Elfston, but you've always had a stiff neck when you get your back up. Maybe it's worth listening to this one. She already's done more than you might have been able to do by yourself. You're just one man, but this right here, she's a hero. You can see it for yourself. Behind you, Rick Mod chuckles.
Yeah,
Ditch the husband, keep the rest.
Fefa tries to not visibly cringe at the mention of hero.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, whatever I may be, I think this will be your best chance to, live.
I would like you to make a persuasion check, please, but you can do this at advantage.
Thank you.
I'm tempted to say you can use your inspiration, but I'll let you save that for...
What was persuasion?
Persuasion, please.
That's a 16.
He kind of growls and... All right. If you can help us figure out how to get this farm working, then I'll help give the elf something. We're not going to be friends, though, you understand?
We did it. We cured racism.
No, he very clearly says we're not going to be friends. I'm still a racist bigot, but at least now my cognitive dissonance. No.
Mm-hmm. Right, okay. What I'm going to do is collect some of the bulrushes, put them in a bowl, and then I will pour the ale over it.
Okay.
Because you said that, like, according to the tales, he used to drink and dance.
That's what they say.
So he probably likes a nice drop of Yule Scrumpy. So.
She sort of like barely gives a slight smile, which is probably a stretch given what this family's dealing with, and she says, I hope you're right. It would be something if it turned out that the legends were true. And Elfstan says, it'll be better if you don't get gored.
I'll be fine. So which direction do I find the boar? Also, do you have a cart? Because we are gonna have to carry a big stone.
And he says, "Yes, I wish I could lend you the donkey, but it's not in any shape barely to hold itself, let alone a cart."
Oh, we can pull the cart. It's fine.
And so gives you it is a cart ish. It's more like a wheelbarrow, but it is
That's fine.
big enough that you think you might be able to use it. And he points over towards, there is a and actually I think I may have I can double check and see exactly where the spot is on the map. Just give me a second to find it. Yes. Okay. So I will show this on Roll20. That sorry, I lied. I'll show it in a minute. Yes. Okay. Almost. Nope. There we go. Right here, and I will clear these things so chat can see it all. Right here is where the cliff is, but Elston warns you that if you go too far to the west, you will find yourself in his old territory, his own land. And he tells you that that is where you'll find the Oathbreakers, these people that allegedly stole his original farm. So if you get too far, you're going to be over that side. But the cliff,
that's number 12. Then
that's number 12. The cliff is here. Yeah.
Okay. Ooh, suddenly tired.
That's okay.
Right, yeah, then I guess we are going towards the cliff and keeping an eye out for boar tracks.
For boar tracks.
Which are really easy to find.
I was going to say.
I might add, boar tracks are, boars are not subtle.
Be very cautious.
Not a soft, not a soft touch on the ground.
That's right. You do actually, as you get close to the cliff, you can see some of these. You can begin to see some of the tracks in the ground, and you, as you're sort of looking down and sort of the tracks lead that way. Guy says, "You don't have to worry. I see where it is." And he points up. And as you look in the direction of what he points at, you see what I'm about to show you. There we go. What? Oh, I accidentally, okay. I realized I put in the wrong thing. I put in a slideshow instead of doing this thing, sorry. Great. You look up and you see this. This enormous, angry-looking boar. It stares at you and snorts, and you see its tusks move. And
how far away is it?
You wish it were farther. It is at the base of this cliff, a couple 100 feet away. And as it looks at you, it brushes its hoof along the ground, tilts its head.
Right. I whisper towards my followers to slowly start walking backwards and not take their eyes off this thing. And while I get out a bowl, put the bulrushes in, and pour the ale on top of that.
Okay.
Into the bowl. And slowly put the bowl down, and then also start to slowly walk backwards.
As you slowly begin to walk backwards, it begins to slowly walk forwards,
Yeah.
tossing
Just
its
keep
head.
walking.
It begins to speed up its pace. And that's where we're going to end our session for today.
Oh, of course.
But we have a
At least it's not a
bowl.
literal cliffhanger.
Right, exactly. This time it's just a cliff charger. Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have a bowl of alcohol, poison bulrushes, and a big ass boar that is heading this way. Well, we met a lot of new people today. We met, of course, this farm. We met Ilston, the angry farmer. We met his children that don't speak because they're too hungry. We have Baba, the half or quarter ilf, I guess, farmer's wife. We have Kinnefrith, the angry ilf who wants the old ways to be respected, and we have Bristleback the boar. So we got a lot of people that we met here today.
Nice.
But I think you did a very good job in sort of navigating all of that. And it'll be interesting to see what happens. I was thinking about what it would have been like if Runesild had done something like this. and Runesild would probably have been like, well, we have to take back your old farm, kill the boar, shut up the ilf.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like it would have been very different than Genevieve, who's like, let me try to make peace between people. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. How did you feel about today's session? And well done, I should say. So how did you feel about today's session, Tari, and where will the lovely folks find you next?
Well, I'm sure I'm done for now that I'm going to get killed by a boar. Should I start rolling up my
Your new character? You said you wanted to not be bored, so
very funny.
the tusk is right in front of you. I don't know what the
Yeah. Yeah, this was fun. I'm glad my voice held out. So I guess
It did,
I
yeah.
am more or less healthy again. Yeah, it's fun. Got to meet an elf. Got a dwarf and an elf in this game.
That's true.
Amazing.
Yep.
What's next? A dragon in a dungeon?
It's true. Gimli and Legolas, or Full Anger and Kinnefrith. It's like the warped version. Here's the real
However,
dwarf elf.
In old folklore, dwarfs are elves. So
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Well, but there can be but they're different sorts though of elves, right? Like they're not. They don't
because
look like
elves are so well defined, right? Like the only thing that's well defined about dwarves is that they are short and they are good smiths, like craftsmen. There's nothing well defined about elves. Elves can be just about anything.
It's true.
So yeah, this was fun. Looking forward to the next session.
Yeah.
Also looking forward to eating because my brain is kind of giving out at this point.
See,
So low
well,
on sugar.
perfect. You kept feeding everybody to make them happier, so it'll
Yeah.
be the same for you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just living out my power fantasy of everybody being well fed, including myself. Yeah.
Where can they see you?
Where can they see me? On here on the channel, obviously.
Yes.
I don't know when our next scheduled game is. Sometime this month.
I believe we have April 22nd, so it would be 2 weeks from today, is for game book illustrations, I believe.
Yes. Yeah, for that then, please come check out that. And besides that, people can follow me on Tumblr, on Blue Sky, and on Kara at TariToons. So do that.
Good stuff. And yeah, I did enjoy this as well, Tari. I'm enjoying watching you navigate 3 very different types of quests throughout this, and figuring out the riddles. I was watching the gears turn as you're like, what the hell, help, with these things, but figured it out. And this idea
I feel
about
like I'm a bit too genre savvy sometimes.
yeah, so
oh yeah, mentioned half elves, of course. Yeah, the mom is a half elf.
Yeah.
Part elf, whatever.
That's right, or quarter elf. Yeah, I guess is what it would be. But yeah, no, and you did a good job, I think, in managing, figuring out with the riddles and all that. So it was good. But go get some food.
Yeah, that was so easy, the riddles.
Yeah, no, you had no problem with it at all. It was totally fine. But you managed fine, and go get some food, go get some rest, and we will be chatting with each other in the next couple of weeks.
Yes, thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Tari. Bye-bye. Let's get some love for Tari in chat, everybody. And thank you so much to TariToons. Whoops. Let me get rid of that and turn on my camera like that. Good times, everyone. That was fun. I enjoyed that quite a bit, and I think, like I said, I really have appreciated having a chance for Tari to sort of get a sense of the character, and it's fun because Genevieve is, as I say, so different from Runesild, that it's been fun to sort of watch, Tari kind of grapple with a very different kind of character in a very effective way, I think. So we'll see what happens when she makes a boar drunk and or poisoned. We'll see what the implications of that. But right now, I have got to. Oh, that's a good point. Do I have? Was today the nomination for that? Oh, it might have been. Shoot. Let me see. No, not today. Woo! I'm glad because, frankly, let me see. I have, when did I have nominations are the 17th? That's when it is. We have nominations for that. And then we have, I think, the final vote is going to be, yeah, that's right. Nominations are on the 17th. So it's a week from Thursday. Can we have answers to the riddles? Sure. The one that said the thing about make the boar dead drunk very quickly from a boar with a splitting hangover. The riddle that said, I break the vine and acorn both in old age. My mouth is hard. I dream of food. My teeth are the plow of soil and flesh. That answer was a boar. That was a boar. And the one that was the first one, which was, I am a thing welded in strife, dear to my king, finely adorned, my mail I smooth, bright white twines, the death ring my ruler gave me, I hurt others harshly, I am widely hated by the wise, is a sword. So that's what that stuff is. A boar and a sword. That's what those things are. So, yep. So some people, I actually accidentally said those things right at the very beginning. I said those things initially, so I was kind of like, I was like, whoops. And I was like, I hope nobody actually noticed that I said that because, But anyway, so yes, so nominations will be a week from Thursday. The sword one. Yeah, the boar one I think is hard. The thing that might help a little bit is the fact that, as is typical, the Ilf's clues are very close to things that are actually happening in the adventure. So that happens a little bit. Like if you know about the boar, you might be like, oh, but you wouldn't necessarily know about the boar until you talked to the woman and Baba, and you wouldn't know about that to ask her about that if you hadn't first talked to the elf about the cliff. So there's a little bit of like catch-22 stuff. It did say something about a ring, but it was about the death ring, not necessarily the ring. Some red herrings, I think, basically, that are thrown in here for these riddles. But okay, I'm going to, however, rise up on out of here because although I had a wonderful time and it was good to see all of you, and we had it was improving turnout here, which was great to see. But I need to go get ready for D&D by the dice roll. So I'm going to go do that for Ghosts of Saltmarsh at the top of the hour. If you like what you saw and heard today, I hope you will follow the channel. I hope you will check out our YouTube with !ArvTube, Discord !ArvCord, Twitter !ArvTweets, Blue Sky !ArvSky, website arvanelleron.com. Again, this Friday coming up is the Hearthglow finale, April 11th, with Carlos Hernandez and C.S. Ikuni and Adam Petrosino, student at Sacred Heart University, and some guy might be named Zach Clay. Oh my God, it's Zach Clay. This guy. Yeah. This right here.
I'm in the flesh.
This person exists. He's real. He's real too. Zach is here. So we are going to be seeing Zach here on Friday the 11th. I'm very excited for that. You're probably also going to be seeing Zach somewhere else as kind of like you just stay tuned to social media and things like that because we may make other appearances throughout the course of the week. We'll see. So you're going to see Zach on Friday the 11th. It's going to be awesome. You will see the rest of us at Sacred Heart University at the Shine Auditorium. It is free to go there. Yeah, Zach jump scare, exactly. It's free to go there, and it's free to attend. Please do spread the word and please come see it. I don't know if we'll be able to live stream that or not. That's unclear to me as of yet. We will figure it out. Again, I have to figure a few things out to see if I'm going to be able to do that. Regardless, the way that you can know that you'll be able to see it is you can see it in person if you're capable of doing that. So that's Friday from 4 to 8 p.m. Eastern. So very excited for that. Again, arvinelaron.com there. Also, don't forget to check out Gen GMs that the guy that you just saw in the flesh does with me as well. On the financial front, exclamation point Icarus. That's my graphic novel from Athos Arts. Exclamation point Library, my Tales and Tomes, The Forbidden Library. That's my 5e adventure and sourcebook from Alligator Alley Entertainment. And exclamation point Greyshade is my Greyshade IP, Greyshade Renegade Heretic, the Grey Assassin trilogy, available at that link. You can, from Athos Arts, you can also get the audiobook of Greyshade from our very own Trent Sparks, and you can also pre-order the tabletop role-playing game of Greyshade from Brandon O'Brien. That will be released at Gen Con in August. Very excited for that. That's going to be a big deal, I hope, for us too. So there's that. And finally, as always, exclamation point BLM, Black Lives Matter. I totally agree, by the way, with Prince Justin's points, and also agree with Live Suing's points, everything that they have just said. Exclamation point BLM, Black Lives Matter, important to affirm and assert the significance and importance of Black lives. Exclamation point Help Now, the World Health Organization page on suicide prevention. Important to reach out to others when you need help and reach out to others when they need help as well. And exclamation point Ukraine. There is, I think it's just exclamation point Gen GMs, I believe. There it is. Exclamation point Ukraine, UKRAINE, to help the people of Ukraine as they fight back against an illegal and illegitimate war with bravery and courage. And send the message will do so for others in that situation in the future. Otherwise, I want to thank everyone who made it out today for the stream. Thank you to my wonderful mods, Prince Justin, Triffity Mats. Not that Prince Justin was ever here, but if Prince Justin was here, thank him for that. Thank you to my wonderful Patreon supporters and subscribers, Prince Justin, Triffity Mats, Effect Life, and TomTom. And thank you to my wonderful viewers. Thank you to Betrader. Thank you to Butthurt Gamer, Hugo Z. Hackenbush. Thank you to Imaginary Exponent. Thank you to Intensely Eric. What's up, Eric? Thank you to Jagtress. Thank you to Live Suing, of course. Thank you for the raid Live Suing. Thank you to Mr. Jonas. Thank you to Nonstop. Thank you to Octamelody. Thank you to Cubix. And thank you to Saturnius. Thank you, everyone, for all of that. Remember to join us top of the hour, GogCom's Twitch channel at 2 p.m. for D&D with Buy the Dice Roll. And then I'll see you back on this channel Thursday evening for more of the amazing and awesome Expeditions Rome. More Beowulf, Age of Heroes to come next month. Until then, until I see you later on today, everyone, please be good to each other and spread the word. And I'll see you folks soon. Bye for now. Then on the strand, with steeds and treasure and armor, their roomy and ring-dight ship was heavily laden. High its mast rose over Hrothgar's hoarded gems. A sword to the boat guard Beowulf gave, mounted with gold. On the mead bench, since he was better esteemed, that blade possessing heirloom old. Their ocean keel boarding, they drove through the deep, and Daneland left. A sea-cloth was set, a sail with ropes firm to the mast, the flood timbers moaned. Nor did wind over billows that wave-swimmer blow across from her course. The craft sped on, foam-necked it floated forth o'er the waves, keel firm bound over briny currents, till they got them sight of the Geatish cliffs, home-known headlands. High the boat, stirred by winds, on the strand updrove. Helpful at haven the harbor guard stood, who long already for loved companions by the water had waited and watched afar.